Greetings everybody and welcome to what I can only describe as the unholy combination of a missile system, an anti-tank missile, an anti-aircraft missile, two 35mm cannons, a tier 6 Abrams chassis, a very expensive and complicated fire control system, and armoured warfare. Welcome to the Abrams M1 Air Ground Defence System, or the AGDS, or the Missile Launcher of Death Destruction. This vehicle has a pair of autocannons. It has 12 missiles in two little missile racks. It has the ability to perform indirect fire, as these missiles kind of go roughly above the target, but not so much as in a way as in armoured warfare, and you'll see how they perform in the later reviews and, well, replays and stuff. Anyway, this is a tier 9 tank destroyer. Considering this is basically a hybrid anti-air AT vehicle, it's a bit weird, but oh well, whatever. Yes, so this is a tier 9 tank destroyer that was originally available during Armoured Warfare's first campaign. I was one of the lucky few to get it. It was for free at the time, along with quite a host of other premium vehicles, and it has been available in the legendary reinforcements and I believe in a 100 parts crate thing, but don't quote me on that, in recent years. This vehicle has had several changes, and with several new commanders, it has been changed quite recently, which is why I'm doing this review. I believe I originally did a overview of this tank, fuck knows when, so I'm doing another one. This tank used to come with the engine override, but now it has the radar, which gives a 30% spotting through camouflage and a 25 meters vision range, but does however brought down the camouflage factor to very crappy levels. But then again, as you can see in the utility section, the camouflage doesn't really help to begin with, so you might as well have that radar on all the time. The radar is there, by the way. Hello voice. Anyway, aside from that, this vehicle pretty much comes fully upgraded. It gets a soft kill APS, which isn't really particularly helpful, and a gas turbine engine, which means welcome to having absolutely zero acceleration from 0 to 32, one of the reasons why Alicia and Douglas are actually quite good picks for this. Douglas especially is the de facto Abrams commander. But anyway, a pair of 35mm cannons, 34 to 41 damage, 212 penetration, not too shabby, 600 RPM, which is actually very good indeed. Compare that to the T40 and the QN, and of course Mr. Terminator over here. As you can see, the Abrams AGDS has the lowest damage, but also has the highest penetration, which will come in handy when dealing with MBT side armor and some more heavily armored AFEs in the game. It also has very high DPM as well, 24,950 with the autocannon, and a reload time on the same way as the Terminator. The Terminator having slightly more damage, but the Abrams having slightly more pen. And with Alicia, it does have a very nice chunk of hit points and is also the second most armoured. This is almost completely invulnerable to autocannons from the front, but as it is a tier 6 Abrams chassis, is very vulnerable to heat, sabot, standard tier 9 stuff. It's also the second fastest when compared to the Leopard T40, but is also the slowest out of the lot, and that gas turbine does hurt significantly. But it does weigh a very meaty 57 tons, so ramming this isn't exactly a good idea, as what happened when a Thunderbolt rammed me and took half his health off and promptly exploded. Its camouflage is the same as the Terminator 2, but again, thanks to that gas turbine engine, it will pretty much lose all of its camouflage, and it does have very crappy view range, but this is a TD, rather unlike the T40 and the QN. This is very much built towards firepower. Aside from that, cannon depression and elevation is extremely good. -14 means that you'll pretty much hit your targets all the time, and I guess if you ever wanted to start shooting enemy satellites, well, there you go. However, its accuracy and aim time is actually quite crappy, and its turret traverse is slow as well, but then again, look at the size of that turret, I wouldn't really expect that to go anywhere. Anyway, aside from all of this, the missiles themselves, 281 to 1323 damage, extremely high, but a penetration of 900. Now, you may have noticed in the AGDS review I did call those missiles quite crap due to their 900 pen, but that is for the direct fire missiles. These missiles most of the time will be hitting the roofs or the actual top hulls of vehicles and can also be used in indirect fire mode, and the fact you have 12 of them as opposed to the AGDS 6 means double the firepower, double the missiles, and the ability to completely fuck anyone really hard if you really desire to do so. Most of the time when you hit people you do around 300 damage. These basically function as heat MP missiles, so they'll do damage against targets anyway. So even if it's 300 per shot, 12 times 3, 3600 damage. That's enough to kill a tier 9 and some tier 10s. Apart from that, you don't really have any modules other than the radar. In fact, I do wish there was an engine override, and the standard surplus parts crates, first aid cabinet, and an improved fire extinguisher for PvE. You know, the rebuild kit. Aside from that, the missiles do have a very, very long reload time, around roughly 40 or so seconds. So firing off all those missiles at once isn't exactly really recommended. Most of the time, you're going to want to fire off about 4 at somebody, and that's usually enough to get them to suddenly realise what they're up against, and they will run the fuck away from you. Aside from that, an improved gun breach helping the reload of the missiles, a AGDM control unit, telescopic lenses, and filter systems because this is an Abrams chassis. Aside from that, Zolto Makova, hold up, that's a randomly generated name. Acceleration on off-road terrain increased by 20%, which is good, and hold reverse, and you also get a gunner, so you might as well go for accuracy to create a max spread. Aside from that, commanders wise, the best commander overall is Alicia. If you really want to spec into the AGDS, then go for the Hoarder skills, as the tank only has 24 rounds, and with Alicia it will have significantly more. In fact, a 35% chance even then is better. So generally speaking, if you wanted to go for the ammo rounds, you could take off Field Repair, Tank Rage, and just go straight for the others, but this is more of a ramming build, generally speaking. Aside from that, if you desperately wanted to help out with the poor acceleration, Douglas O'Reilly is a pretty good thing. Acceleration increased by 50%, better rate of fire, don't really need to give a shit about the camo, and acceleration is pretty decent as well. So there you go, all of those little stats, more hit points, more damage, lovely jubbly. Doesn't give more ammo though, so you do have that to worry for. And then lastly, we have the 2 module damage commanders, Sabrina Washington for the ability to, I suppose if you penetrate somebody they're going to have a very bad day with Sabrina of course, and Vincent module and crew damage. And I guess if you desperately wanted to go that way, you could always go for our wonderful psychotic Russian, Andrei Zatsiev, for the ability to turn your enemy's crew into, I'm going to say, mashed up sausage rolls. Anyway, aside from that, this thing, like I said, is pretty much immune versus autocannons, which is a good thing. I have had T249 Vigilantes do damage to me, but usually not enough to kill me, as you will see later in the 2 games to review. As you can see there, pretty much red overall, which is very good. But unfortunately it does lack significantly when it comes to armor versus even tier 7 shells. This is a tier 6 Abrams chassis, so pretty much rip. And I guess versus tier 7 shells such as the 9910, you are probably going to get killed very easily. Yeah, and then even against missiles of tier 8, such as the Bradley, things are probably not going to go your way, as the hull will get penetrated. The turret does seem to be quite thick in a way, but that hull, not really the greatest thing in the world. But how the missiles do function, but how the missiles do function in a way is actually, generally speaking, quite good, and I need to quickly look over at vehicles of the same tier. So for instance, let's put the AGDS against the Type 99A. Now, the AGDS's missiles won't really do much damage to Type 99A overall. But, here's the thing, most of the time your missiles are going to be landing at this kind of angle. And as you can see here, this is when things start to get interesting. And, well, God help anybody who puts a sight onto you. But that's how the missiles generally operate. They fly in an arc, they land down on somebody, the enemy gets hit for either 300 or 1000 damage, and they start to panic. It's pretty much how things go. So, let's have a look at some games. So, this is more of a skirmish game with a wonderful friend, Tank Sniper, an amazing player and somebody who I thoroughly enjoy playing the game with, and a rare player who does have an Abrams AGDS bought from the campaign, so neither of us paid for it. We do enjoy taking our AGDSs out, as people do tend to underestimate this thing quite a lot. They don't when this thing starts launching missiles at you, I can tell you that. So this is going to be a bit of a roller coaster of a battle, so let's let the game simply play out as it is. So we have a Challenger 2, so we have an armoured tank here. They have a pair of T249s, which are basically hybrid scouts with a really big autocannon, but they can't really threaten us at long range, so they're going to have to get close to us to really do damage. The Merkava 4 and the T40 are probably the biggest threats here, the Merkava having the ammo rack and the T40 having that javelin system, and the Merkava 3 Bowser and the T90s also have quite good DPS and DPM, but overall won't really be able to stand up to a flurry of this thing's missiles. So the Abrams AGDS can generally be a pretty unparred vehicle when it comes unparalleled vehicle when it comes to one-on-one fights, and if you pick your situation clearly, quickly and efficiently, as well as using those wonderful missiles of yours, you will be able to happily bend over people, like I said before, and fuck them sideways. So the thing about this map with myself and Tank Sniper is that we were going to play it safe for the first part. The Abrams AGS is excellent when it comes to firing over hills, as you will see shortly on how this thing's missiles really operate, and if it wasn't for the indirect fire, this thing would probably have high penetration, probably around the crab's 1.1k, but it can do with 900 pen. And I will be releasing a amusing image later on. Nothing going on yet, and as you can see the radar is deployed, giving off that hilarious little point noise. But even though we don't know if this part of the map is secured yet, or even has enemies on, we're still going to lurk over here, as this is a fragile tank, unfortunately. So, enemies over there. Time to engage. Note we're not using the bridge, as one of their T249s hasn't been spotted yet, and he could have spotted us and he would have literally ripped straight through this tank. So we're going to keep going, and then we're going to engage the enemy. As you can see, this is how the missiles go. Fly straight above and right onto that side of that guy. Now the missiles are protected and do have a little bit of a window, so there is a little bit more of a reload time. As you can see here, around 4 seconds reload per missile. The autocannon has a pretty good rate of fire, which is the best I can do for it. Hit on that Merc, 149. Challenger is engaging him. And instead, I'm just going to simply use the autocannons at this point, as, hey, no real point using the missiles. And there's also around a roughly 1.52 second swap delay time between the autocannons and everything else, really, so there is that to deal with. Now, once this thing does get moving, it can be pretty fast, but this is a Abrams chassis, and Abramses aren't exactly the most agile tanks out of the box. Kind of funny how people keep going on that gas turbines are better than diesels in this game, and if this thing had a diesel it'd be a lot better. But still, a 1500 horsepower engine is pretty damn good. Anyway, Merkava over there, enemy vigilante, can't spot them yet, so we've got to move up. Being in the open or being caught with one of these things is a really crappy idea. Tank Sniper getting shot at, and now I'm going to really annoy this Merkava. Now, even though this autocannon still has relatively weak pen compared to its gun caliber, the rate of fire does make up for it, as you are about to see. Hey Merc, how's it going? And he's dead. A little bit of fun from Alicia down there as well. So the next part of this game is going to be a little simple move. Two T49s to go. Missed there. And the enemy going to start shooting us again. So now it's down to us and the Challenger. Now the AGDS does have extremely good burst damage. The missile's quick penetration, quick reload, Just ignore that T40 for now. I know, 500 damage, but that's fine. If we spot him here, we can get him. Sorry, I found just a few more enemies going up. Now tank does make a bit of a mistake here. I was quite paranoid about what would happen considering those two T49s. There's Black Angel from Hype on the other team, very good player. The guy fucking scares me. T40 found. See, being able to do indirect fire like that, he misses, but ooh, tank is dead. So I'm gonna back up. Now, did you see that bit of the T40? That's the indirect fire I was telling you about, and it is extremely good, but we've got to kill this friggin' T40 at our backs. Well, at my back. I've got to kill this T40 at my back, okay. So, instead, what's going to happen is that I'm going to reload, go down, and even at this point, I could actually still conceivably kill this T40. I do have the missiles should be able to elevate high enough to do that. Now, the T249s might not be able to penetrate me, but the way the depleted uranium works is it basically works like a kind of heat MP for other cannons, so it will do damage. There's a T40, there's Black Angel, hi Black Angel, bye Black Angel. That's the wonderful thing about these missiles, is that once they start their indirect fire, they accelerate very quickly. But you still have time to be able to guide them and everything, so not terrible. As you can see here, the little bit of that delay there for everything. And instead, we're just going to dunk on this T40. Hey, T40, how's it going? The Challenger squashes him. Okay, so it's just a T249 left, and while there is 8 minutes on the clock, he is fast enough to be able to get away from both of us. So at this point, it is basically down to this guy if he wants to fight or if he wants to run. Now, what most people will do is they will probably run away. But this guy runs away a little bit too early. Well, late, I guess. So good night, my sweet prince. Alright, that's it for the first game, and hopefully this will load so I don't have to relog back into the game, because it's always a bit of a pain in the ass, I'll tell you. Especially because then I basically have 2 videos to meld into one, to then meld into a bigger video. Okay, cool. So, that game was a while ago. Vehicle, Abrams, AGDS. There you go. So, Iron Dragon, obviously. 9,255 damage done. This can pretty much be summed up as a regular game if you be able to get mostly with squishies on the enemy team. 2,300 spotting as well. But that's because I spotted the Merc before earlier. You can see there pretty much full damage done to both the T249s. Built 2 missile hits done to the T40, 1 to the T90A and 1 to the Merc 4, while the Merc 4 was the autocannon, as well as doing almost half the team damage. And as you can see there, this is a very good money maker. Total potential damage would have been 11k. And some damage bounce, but that's from autocannons. So you are kind of safe from T249s, but not really safe if that makes any sense. So, let's have a look at the second game, or the final game I guess. Alright, this is going to be a slightly more difficult game as well. Hey, tier 10, how's it going? So, bit of a lag at the start, as we can see here. Hopefully, no camera bug's still here. So, a bunch of T249s, I'm sure you've all been acquainted with those at this point. The radar's up, pretty much have it on all the time, while on other radar vehicles such as the ADAS, the T249 and the MX-13, the 5 or 10% loss to camouflage can be big on what is essentially an MBT with 10 times as much expense and effort put into it. God, if anyone can bring me up the numbers for how much something like this would have cost in real life, feel free. But yeah, this is pretty much just have the radar on all the time unless you find the Bit annoying. We have myself and Tank Sniper have happily named it the Poi Radar after Kantai Collection. Poi. Yeah, you get the idea. So, coastal threat, it can be a boon. There are plenty of hills and cover to use, but there's also straight lines and places where if you get trapped, you can't exactly run away, and running away in Abrams isn't exactly something anybody really wants to particularly deal with. So another boon of this thing's missiles is the angle they can hit at enemies. Even really heavily armoured tier 10s can often deal full damage. And you're going to see that amusing little thing happen quite quickly. So I do actually like the camouflage here, but anyway. The game's just started, their TTP is dead, but as usual for this map, the south team is going to simply bludgeon their way north, and north team is going to bludgeon their way south, and the whole rigmarole of PvP at tier 10 begins. So anyway, there's a Black Eagle over there. Let's go say hi. Indirect fire, 1000 damage. 1000 damage. Oh, that makes me amused. This is why standing in front of an AGDS, even if you're a tank who can actually stand up to an MGM, probably not such a good idea. There's a crab over there. I was like, hey, crab, can you go back, please? Was trying to track this 640. 2 seconds left. Missiles pop out, and as you can see, the delay happens, and the missiles are back. So anyway, that's a nice bit of damage done, and I honestly don't think that Black Eagle was particularly happy to see me. But anyway, let's keep going because the fun ain't over yet. There's a crab who unfortunately stood in front of me. Hi crab, how you doing? Having fun? Yeah, this thing properly driven and properly aimed can be an absolute nightmare for the enemy team. Reload again, and this is actually one of those times that I would have preferred to have the engine override, preferably the 20-second one, as now I've got to make the bridge run, and the bridge run on this map usually leads in death or living, so yeah, but regardless, we've got to make it across. Thunderbolt. This is what's going to happen. Come on, faster, damn it, faster! But yeah, in this kind of situation, this is when you're going to need those 12-round rocket missile pods instead of the 4 or even 6 some other MBTs, some other missile vehicles get. Okay, Challenger 1, dead. Round 1, AGDS wins. Okay, round 2, fight. Oh, hey, oh, he's getting in minimum range. Oh, he could kill me. Oh, no. I think he fucked up because now I've got a bit of an angle on him. Round 2, finished. Round 3, fight! Oh. 10 missiles fired and not a single shit was given that day. You notice all of those were American. You know what can't out America? America can. Yep. That's why I'm keeping those 10 missiles, just saying. So that's going to be it for that game, as nothing else really happened of note. So let's all cross our fingers together and hope that the infinite loading screen bug doesn't work. There we go. So yeah, that's usually the AGDS scenario, in which you find a bunch of Soskin vehicles and you thoroughly make them wish they didn't go near you, and especially using terrain that will help you get those missiles down, because in direct fire mode, yeah, 7,400. They did not enjoy it. The Black Eagle didn't enjoy it, he didn't enjoy it, he didn't enjoy it, he definitely didn't enjoy it, he didn't go near me, and the Leopard 2 had a tiny little bit of spine damage going on. Second highest damage in the game there, Alte absolutely worked his ass off, but he died. Total potential damage done would have been around 10,000, but overall I'm pretty happy with that experience. 4,000 damage mitigated, and that was the slight protection you have versus autocannons, because if those T249s could pen, they would have killed me. So yeah, that's going to be it for now, guys. This is the Abrams AGDS. It's changed, but in the right hands it's still practically god tier. A wonderful, beautiful and fun vehicle to play. In PvE it has the DPM King, and in Glops, well, you have the ability to do what most Glops players do, which is fire off all your rounds, suicide, and do it again. Hey, I didn't make the rules. Anyway, thank you all for coming so much. There is a donation below for helping me get some winter thermals, as it's fucking freezing here and I only have summer clothes because, well, my dog may have thrown up and shat on some of my winter clothes, and those are basically unusable now. And if you did enjoy this video, remember to like and subscribe, and hey, leave a comment below. Hopefully I should be able to get some codes for some AGDSs, even if they're rentals. This vehicle is such a unique blast that, hey, I always enjoy playing my AGDS, and I'm pretty sure anyone who has one enjoys playing it as well. So that's it for now, guys. Take care out there. See you all later. I'll wait for the image at the end of the video. Bye for now.